Hello guys, welcome to Pepcoding. I hope all of you are doing great. So today we are going to discuss our question GCD and LCD. So let's first understand our question. We are given two numbers, num1 and num2, and we are required to calculate their GCD and LCM. So let's understand what is GCD and LCM. Okay. So in the input we are given two numbers, n1 and n2. And what our task is? Our task is to calculate their GCD and LCM. That's it. So let's first understand what GCD is. So GCD is Greatest Common Divisor. Okay, so let's take our n1, any number. So in the input, we are given n1 equal to 36 and 24. Okay, so 36 and 24. So again, what GCD means? GCD means Greatest Common Divisor. You can say the greatest number that completely divides both n1 and n2 is your GCD. In this case, what is the greatest number that divides both n1 and n2? It is 12. So 12 is your GCD. And what is LCM? LCM is the lowest common multiple. The full form of LCM is lowest common multiple. So the lowest multiple of these two numbers, n1 and n2, or you can say the lowest number that comes in the table of both n1 and n2 is your LCM. So in this case, our LCM will be 72. Okay. So this is your question. I first recommend you to try it yourself before moving to the solution. Okay. Now let's discuss how we are going to solve it. What we are going to do is use the simple division method that we probably studied earlier in our school or somewhere else. So by that, we will calculate our GCD. Also, I would like you to know that we are going to break it into parts. We are going to break our question into parts. First, we are only going to talk how we can calculate our GCD. Then we will discuss about LCM, and probably our GCD will help us in calculate LCM. Okay. So let's see how we are going to calculate GCD. Okay. So what we know that we are given two numbers. So we are going to implement the simple division method. So one number will be in our divisor and other will be our dividend. So let's say n1 is our dividend and n2 is our divisor. Okay. Now what are we gonna do? Okay, what are we gonna do? Our first step, I'm gonna write step here, steps. Okay. So my first step is going to be to calculate remainder. Okay. To calculate the remainder. That's our first step. So let's calculate its remainder. So our quotient will be 1 and our remainder will be 12. Now, the second step, and it's one of the most important step, what are we going to do? We are going to update our divisor and dividend. Think how we can do it. So what we can do is bring our old divisor and make it our dividend. So can I write that my new dividend will be my old divisor. Okay. So in this case, my old divisor is 24. So this time my dividend will be 24. Perfect. And the third step, that whatever remainder you calculated, so the remainder you calculated, it will become your divisor. So can I write my divisor will be equal to my remainder. So these are the three steps that you have to do to calculate your GCD. Now let's again find the remainder. So this time my quotient will be 2, and whenever your remainder is 0. So what here? So whenever your remainder becomes 0, that means you got your answer. Whatever your latest divisor is, it will be your GCD. And as we know, our GCD was 12. So that's how we will calculate our GCD. It was simple. We break it into 3 steps. To calculate remainder, and update the values of our dividend and divisor. And whenever our remainder gets 0, then whatever the divisor is, that will be our GCD. Now let's try to code it and then we will look further. Okay, so in the input we are given two numbers n1 and n2. So as we know, we need both dividend and divisor. So I will assign dividend and divisor. Okay, n1 and n2. Perfect. Now what? I'll create some space, or rather I will full screen. Yeah. Now my first step is to calculate GCD, and till when we are running our loop. Till when we are running our loop, as we discussed, till our remainder is 0. If our remainder gets 0, we'll get our answer. So can I write while dividend modulus divisor? We know to calculate remainder, we use modulus operator. If it is not equal to 0, we will run our loop. Simply run our loop. Now, our first step. What was our first step? Try to recall it. Is it simple? To calculate our remainder. So our remainder will be dividend modulus divisor. Now, the next step. Okay, I'll bring it here and let's see our next step. It was to update the value of our dividend and our divisor. So we are going to simply update the values. So this time, my dividend will be my divisor and my divisor will be my remainder. Perfect. And after you get out of the loop, whatever that is your divisor, it will be your GCD. So we calculate our GCD. Perfect. We calculate our GCD in simple steps. Now the next thing we are going to talk about is LCM. But how we can calculate our LCM? So again, we are going to recall this small equation that how that relates both GCD and LCM. Okay, let's see. So if we don't know, if we multiply GCD of n1 and n2, any two numbers, into LCM of n1 and n2. Here n1 and n2 are same values, okay. That gives us n1 into n2. So by this formula, can we find LCM? Of course we can. Can we simply say, I will use a new pen, LCM is equal to n1 into n2 divided by GCD. Perfect. Fair enough. I hope you are understanding it. So we just change the value so that we can calculate LCM. So by this formula, we can simply calculate LCM. Now let's calculate our LCM. So to calculate LCM, LCM is equal to n1 into n2 divided by GCD. Also, we need an integer value. So I'll convert it into integer. Perfect. Now let's see the output, that in what format we have to print our output. We have to simply print it. So here I will print my GCD and I will print my LCM. Now let's try running our code and see if this works or not. As you code, our code is running. Now let's try submitting it. Perfect. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, do not forget to like, comment and share. Thanks for watching.